Below is a more comprehensive, roughly 3-minute read on the Cleveland Guardians' reaction to President Trump's appeal to restore their old Indians name. What Trump said on Sunday, July 20th, former President Trump used his Truth Social platform to urge two major sports franchises to revert to their pre-2020 names. The Washington Whatevers should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team. There is a big clamoring for this. Likewise, the Cleveland Indians, our great Indian people in massive numbers, want this to happen. Their heritage and prestige is systematically being taken away from them. Times are different now than they were 3 or 4 years ago. We are a country of passion and common sense. Owners, get it done. His post lumped both the NFL's Commanders and MLB's Guardians into one demand, claiming, without evidence, that Native Americans themselves are calling for a reversal of the name changes. Why the Guardians changed their name. Historical context. The franchise, originally the Cleveland Indians since 1915, faced decades of criticism that Indians was a racial stereotype. Corporate and community pressure. In 2020, amid a nationwide reckoning over racial issues, several teams and brands dropped indigenous-themed names, e.g. the NFL's Washington franchise. MLB's Cleveland ownership followed suit, announcing they would become the Guardians for the 2022 season. Brand investment. Since the change, the Guardians have rolled out new uniforms, logos, and marketing campaigns, and have leaned into the Guardians of the Future theme tied to Cleveland's iconic East 9th Street Guardians of Traffic statues. Guardians' official response. In a media availability on Sunday, Chris Antonetti, the team's president of baseball operations, said, "I hadn't seen the Truth Social post before coming in today. We've spent the last 4 years building the Guardians brand, and we're excited about the future. We've invested heavily, both financially and emotionally, in this identity, and we're not looking back." Antonetti acknowledged that reasonable people differ on the change, but made clear the organization is not considering a return to Indians. Legal and business realities. Trademark filings. The Guardians own trademarks on their new logos and marks. Readopting Indians would require costly new filings and risk confusing fans and sponsors. Corporate partners, major sponsors, e.g. Progressive, Nike, New Balance, supported the name change in 2021. Reverting could jeopardize hundreds of millions in sponsorships. Fan surveys. Independent polling in 2022-2023 showed a majority of Cleveland fans either supported the Guardians name or were indifferent, with only a small vocal minority favoring Indians. 5. Broader impact on Washington debate. While Trump's demand targeted both Cleveland and Washington, the political dynamics differ. Franchise, land or deal in question, decision maker. The Commanders still need RFK Stadium redevelopment in D.C., D.C. Council plus local zoning boards. Guardians. No stadium issue pending. Team ownership plus MLB governance. The Commanders still need local council approval to build at the RFK site, and Trump implied he could block federal cooperation. In contrast, the Guardians face no pending public land deal, so Trump's ultimatum carries zero legal weight for Cleveland. 6. What happens next? Guardians will continue Guardians branding into 2026 and beyond. Any name reversal seems off the table. Washington, the Commanders are unlikely to revert either. Their local deal hinges on D.C. politics, not a presidential tweet. Public conversation. Trump's post reignited a debate that most sports executives and community leaders had moved past. For both teams, the practical path remains forging ahead under their current identities. Bottom line, the Cleveland Guardians have made the lineup Guardians for good. Despite President Trump's social media flourish, neither MLB nor the franchise shows any appetite for revisiting the Indians name. For now, Cleveland will focus on winning baseball games without looking back over their shoulder at history or at Truth Social. The Cleveland Guardians aren't exactly rushing back to the past, despite former President Trump's weekend declaration that both they and the Washington Commanders should restore their old, now retired names. Here's a closer look at how Cleveland's front office is handling Trump's headline-grabbing demand and why the Guardians seem content to leave Indians squarely in the rearview mirror. 1. Trump's Sunday rallying cry on July 20th. Trump took to Truth Social with dual demands. Washington NFL team revert from Commanders back to Redskins. Cleveland MLB club change from Guardians back to Indians. He claimed a supposed groundswell of support among our great Indian people, who, he said, feel their heritage and prestige have been stripped away by these new monikers. There is a big clamoring for this, Trump wrote. Owners, get it done. Later, too, Guardians. Unmistakable response. Minutes after reporters raised the topic at a Sunday press gathering, Chris Antonetti, Cleveland's president of baseball operations, offered a clear and understated answer. Changing back to the Indians is not something I've been tracking or paying attention to, Antonetti said. We've spent the last 4 years building the Guardians brand, and we're excited about the future. That one-sentence retort speaks volumes. While Antonetti acknowledged that fans and stakeholders hold a variety of views, he provided no hint that Cleveland's leadership would seriously consider Trump's call. Why the Guardians embraced Guardians, addressing a slur. The Indians' nickname, long condemned by Native American groups as a racial slur, was officially retired in 2021. Building a new identity. Over 4 seasons, the team has steadily introduced new logos, uniforms, and community initiatives tied to the Guardians of Traffic statues, Cleveland landmarks that symbolize progress and unity. Fan engagement, merchandise sales, social media followings, and local outreach have all trended upward under the Guardians banner, suggesting strong grassroots acceptance. 4. Political, not practical, motivation. Trump's intervention falls squarely into culture war politics rather than franchise governance. No legal mechanism, neither the White House nor Congress, can compel a private sports franchise to change its name. Corporate and league consensus, both MLB and the Guardians' ownership undertook multi-year reviews involving fans, tribal leaders, and branding experts before settling on Guardians. Financial stakes. Reverting would incur massive rebranding costs, new signage, apparel, digital assets, all for a name that offended many in its original incarnation. 5. What's next? Steady as she goes. Expect the Guardians to continue promoting their current identity through 2025 and beyond. Fan dialogue. While Antonetti downplayed reversion talk, the team will likely continue monitoring fan feedback and broader conversations about representation in sports. Political theater. Trump may again spotlight the issue, but real change would require a seismic shift in both public opinion and league leadership, a scenario that remains extremely unlikely. Bottom line. When history, commerce, and community values all point in one direction, a former president's tweets, even at their most incendiary, are unlikely to reverse course. The Cleveland Guardians have made a deliberate choice to leave behind a problematic past nickname in favor of a fresh, unifying identity. And judging by Chris Antonetti's firm, one-and-done response, that choice isn't going anywhere.